Hello, everyone. This is Jeremiah, W9JAM with Bridgecom Systems, and welcome to Ask Me Anything, the show where we take and go through your questions, get you answers on them, and hopefully make you a little bit better with your ham radio. So, I've already got some questions lined up today, so hopefully everybody is ready to get started. First question that we've got today actually is in regards to the new IC chips. Says, are the new IC chips superior, or should I try and find an old radio with the old IC chips? Well, here's what's going on with the IC chips. It's just a memory chip for storing the digital contact list, as well as some of the radio settings, and it was actually just another part supplier. So the chip should be fundamentally identical, just a different part supplier, and will allow you to use the radio as you always have. So if you decide to buy another 878, you'll be able to use your code plug with it and shouldn't have any problems at all. So hopefully that answers that question. Let's see. Now, uh, hmm. Um, question that we just had come in, where's Adam? Adam is actually no longer with us. He has moved on to other things. So he is no longer with Bridgecom. We wish him all the best and hopefully has great success with his new endeavors. Let's see. Jeff from Ripon, California. Welcome. Also, welcome to Ryan and I hope I say this right. Porumptious. I hope I said that right. Uh, Welcome to all of you guys and everybody else who is joining us today. Again, this is Ask Me Anything, and hopefully we are going to be able to get your questions answered today. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to submit those in the chat so we can take and get those answered. Hi, Stephen. Welcome from Grand Rapids. And looks like Adam Cook just popped in from Lexington, Tennessee. Welcome. And let's get to the next question that we had on the list of questions that came in. If you are wanting to submit a question, you can actually do that right at this link. So the bridgecomsystems.com/pages/submit your AMA question. So make sure you go there, visit that link, and you'll be able to submit questions ahead of time so we can have questions to go ahead and start answering as soon as we get started. So on to the next question. Let's see. Hello, Shannon and Kilo Foxtrot 7 India Washington Alpha. Welcome to you too. And let's see. Next question is, how can I get my DMR ID? Well, that's actually a three-step process. The first step is you're going to need to go to the FCC website and download your official copy of your license. The ARRL, Amateur Radio Relay League, actually has an article on how to do that with the link to log into the FCC website and get that official copy of your license. The second thing you're going to need to do is go to radioid.net. There you will sign up for an account if you haven't created one already, and put in your call sign and upload a copy of your FCC license for your amateur radio license. The steps are pretty self-explanatory on the website, and you'll actually go through, upload your license, your official copy, not the reference copy. They won't accept the reference copy. Upload the official copy, and then once that's uploaded and submitted, the third step is give them about 24 to 48 hours, and you'll get an email back with your radio ID for your DMR ID. It's as simple as that. So let's see what our next questions are. If we've got any that came in the chat yet. Hello, Michael and Bob and Bluebird Watcher. And Steven's got a question. Do you have any 220 amps? I'm looking to buy a 220 repeater from your team, waiting on my coordinated pair to come through from my repeater. That's a really good question. I don't deal with that exact side of sales. I am more the customer service tech support person and also running Bridgecom Plus right now and BCU. So if you give me a little bit, I can probably see if I can get an answer to that. Um, if you want, Stephen, go ahead and submit a support ticket on support.bridgecomsystems.com. Click on Contact Technical Support. And for order ID, just put in pre-sale question. And I'll be able to respond back to that with the answer for you, because I may not get it before the end of the show. But I will try and get you an answer today. So there is that. Michael Levine, no, I did not get your question. Um, Please resubmit your question, and I will see if I can answer that for you. Let's see. The next question is from Michael Wise, and it says, if you have Brandmeister and TGIF on your hotspot, do you need separate disconnect channels for each mode, or will 4000 work on TGIF also? So my understanding of the way that TGIF works is you have your padding for the talk groups on TGIF, but your talk groups that are coming through, your linked talk group that is coming through, you should have a TGIF manager that is activated that allows you to unlink from inside the Pi-Star software. So you can actually unlink from there just by typing in that talk group number. So that should work. As far as having separate disconnect modes, I would try doing the padding and then the 4000 TGIF disconnect. So if your padding is set for starting with a 5, so it's 500 4000, and try that and see if that works. Usually if I'm on TGIF with my radio and my hotspot, I'm usually only on one channel, and then I have one channel that I'm on Brandmeister, and whichever one is active is the one that takes priority. So I usually have my sub channel turned off on my radio. So I don't have two coming back and forth. It's just the one that's coming through, and that's it. So let's see. John has a question. If I'm using my rig on DMR and have APRS analog active, will the analog affect any of the DMR operations or vice versa? John, no. If you're using analog APRS, that will beacon out just like it always would. It's just that you're transmitting your audio on DMR. That would be the only difference. Everything else should work just the same as it always does. So that shouldn't be a problem. I've actually tried that when I was driving cross country during my move, and I didn't have a problem. So it should work just the same. So let's see here. And then Bob has a question. Could you please explain how nuisance channel works? Okay, so in your radio, if you have a scan list set up and one of the channels keeps coming through, like let's say you're getting interference on one of the channels and it keeps stopping on that channel and it won't continue the scan, you can actually go into your settings for that channel and remove that from your scan list in the radio because it's being a nuisance channel. It's not working correctly. You're getting interference on that channel instead of what you're expecting to hear. So you can actually remove that from your scan list from inside the radio. I don't have a scan list set up on my radio, so I can't use it as an example right now. But that is a really good idea for a video for us to make on how to remove a channel on a whoops scan list using the nuisance channel. So let me write that down, and thank you for that, Bob. I hadn't thought about doing a video on that before, but that's actually a great one to make a video for. Okay, Facebook user says the 220 amps are special order, but we can get them for our repeaters, usually 3-week wait time. I'm going to assume that is either Gerald or Ron from the office. So if that is what they're saying, then yes, we can get the 220 amps and be able to get those out to you. So like it says, it is a 3-week wait time, which is usually what the special order items are. So yeah, that should work. Oh, it's Amy. Everybody say hi to Amy. She is the lovely person in our Facebook group right now who takes and gets all of your orders sent out and make sure that you guys get the right products. And also, if something does happen with your equipment and it gets sent back to us for repair, she coordinates with the engineering team to make sure that the correct radio gets to the correct RMA ticket to make sure that everything gets in the right place so we can get it fixed or resolved and get your equipment back to you as quickly as possible. So, hi, Amy. Stephen, I would say you don't have to submit a ticket since we got the answer from Amy. So, let's see here. And for some reason, my phone decided to start ringing. I have no idea who that is. Okay. So, um, Bob, to answer your question, as far as the nuisance channel goes, it actually removes the channel from the scan list. So that will delete it off the radio. The channel will still be in the radio, it just won't be in the scan list anymore. Let's see here. Mike Levine's question. We get receivers occasionally blanking, missing transmissions, and inconsistent ranging. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. What's up? Medium power, color code 1, talk group 99, slot 1. Everyone's about 200 to 300 feet apart. Mike, just for an experiment, try reducing the power to low power and see if you still have that blanking issue. Because I'm kind of suspect that it may be overloading the front end on certain radios, and that's what's happening. I don't think that's entirely it, but that could be a possibility. So I would try that first and see what. Okay, so you have tried that. Okay. Yeah, that's one we would have to investigate further, Mike. So if you could go to support.bridgecomsystems.com and click on contact technical support up in the top right corner, and we'll take and get a ticket created for you and get some more information and see what we can do to get that resolved for you. So let's see here. Ralph has a question. Will WinLink with Vera FM work with the Anytone radio in DMR mode? Ralph, that's a really good question. I don't have an answer for that one because I have never tried it. Oh, Eric's actually got a good suggestion or good question to follow up the question from Mike. Um, are all the channels set to 25 kilohertz? If they are DMR, they should be set to 12.5 kilohertz. If they're analog, they can be set to either. So, yeah, there's that. And then Bluebird Watcher says, what is Parrot? Can we operate on Parrot? Okay, so what Parrot is it's a test utility that actually allows you to connect to the Brandmeister server and or TGIF server, depending on which one is your master DMR gateway server, and allows you to send your call sign out and say something like test 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wait a few seconds, and then your voice should come back to you, and it's a great utility for checking how hot your audio is. By hot, I mean, is it a good level? Is it overdriven? Like it sounds like you're chewing on the microphone in the radio when you're talking, or is it too quiet? So you can adjust your audio level. It also allows you to test and make sure that your DMR configuration is correct and you're reaching the Brandmeister server or the TGIF server, depending on which network you have set up. Now, that being said, with TGIF, if you're using it as a secondary network on your SkyBridge, you won't be able to use the Parrot with the padding. You have to have TGIF set to your main server. And that is basically knocking out your Brandmeister configuration when you change that setting. But if you have any issues with TGIF, just take and key up twice on the talk group you're on, because sometimes it sticks the first time, and other times you have to do that second key for it to let you into that talk group and start talking on it. So there's that. So Kilo Foxtrot 7 India Whiskey Alpha says, question, can you make your own talk group channels so that anybody can use them publicly? You can actually use your own DMR ID to do this. However, if your DMR ID is used by too many people is the talk group number, that will cause it to get locked out for a certain amount of time. I don't remember the explicit number on that. I think it can be anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours. So you just have to be careful with that. If it's you and a group of friends, you're probably safe with that, but over a certain number, it can cause it to get locked out for up to 24 hours. If you're looking for somewhere that you can actually create your own talk group, that will let you create your own talk group, TGIF Network does allow you to do that. And tonight's episode of BCU Live, which is for Bridgecom Plus members only, is actually how to set up your SkyBridge with the TGIF network and Brandmeister at the same time. So if you haven't already, it would be a great opportunity for you to learn how to do that, because the next week's episode is how to set up your code plug to put in those talk groups for TGIF network. So let me get you the link real quick for that, so you can sign up for Bridgecom Plus. We do have a monthly option, an annual option, and a lifetime option for Bridgecom Plus, and that gives you all the access to the courses on Bridgecom Plus and Bridgecom University. So you'll get the Anytone handheld course, the Anytone 578 course, the SkyBridge course, the plug and play course that I'm working on putting together, the repeater course to teach you about our repeaters and how to program them, as well as the Zygo G90 course. So if you were able to get one of those when we were selling those, there's a training course there as well that goes over those radios. And we're looking for suggestions for courses that you guys want to see all the time. So if you have a suggestion for a course, feel free to send it to us, and we'll be more than happy to take and go over that and see what we can do to design that course, get it put together, and get it up on the platform for you guys. So hopefully that helps out. Now, let's see here. Herbert says the No Work Vera FM is digital media fights each other. So translation, the Vera FM won't work with DMR because they fight with each other. And I think it has something to do with the TVMA time slots because it pulses modulation instead of a continuous carrier with the FM mode. So I think that's what he's referring to. So there's that. These are some really good questions, guys. Thank you. Here's Bob's question. Will tonight's BCO Live also work with the DV Mega, or does it have to be a SkyBridge? Great question. So if you have the DV Mega, which was the predecessor to the SkyBridge, what you will want to do is you will want to make sure that you have updated the software to the latest version of Pi-Star. If you don't already have the Pi-Star software updated from version 3.471, I think it is, on your DV Mega to version 4.16, you will need to get that done. What you will want to do is you'll actually download the latest image of Pi-Star from pistar.uk, and you'll need to re-image the card. And we do have a video on re-imaging your SkyBridge on YouTube. So if you want to watch that, there is a video on that. It was a live recorded back in December. I should probably make a new video on that. That will allow you to re-image your card. The things you will need to have is your call sign, your DMR ID, and your Brandmeister hotspot security password. This password will be different than your Brandmeister account login password. So you'll want to make sure that you've got that. If you don't have your Brandmeister hotspot security password, you'll need to log into brandmeister.network and then go to self-care by clicking on your username, which will be your call sign. Click on self-care, and then at the bottom left side of self-care, you'll see where it says hotspot security, and it'll have a space where you can type in a password and then click save. Make it something simple that you can remember. Personal favorites for customers is a simple phrase, like the name of a pet followed by somebody's birthday in your family, or blue sky followed by some numbers. Something that is simple enough for you to remember that's not overly complicated, because the SkyBridges, the Pi-Star software specifically doesn't like overly complicated passwords for Brandmeister. So just a heads up on that. Let's see. Herbert, that is actually incorrect. Parrot needs to be set to private in most cases. TGIF, though, that may be a different story. I will have to look into that itself to see what TGIF recommends for that setting. Let's see. Robert Shaw, hopefully you will enjoy your new radio at the Huntsville Hamfest. Sorry we aren't going to be there this year, guys. I know we've had several people that have called and wrote in and asked. We are not going to be there this year. We apologize. It's just not eligible or not able to be put into the schedule this year. So we do apologize for that, but hopefully we'll be able to attend next year and be able to bring some equipment with us and be able to get you guys set up right there on the spot like we've done in the past. But unfortunately, we're not going to be there this year. Yeah, sorry. So let's see here. Um, what modes can you do cross mode with? Can you do DMR to P25 and vice versa? Um, let's see, and that is from Eric, Mr. N2KOJ. Um, actually, I believe right now it is just DMR to Yaesu System Fusion and DMR to NXDN. If you bear with me a second, I can actually check. Let's see, configuration and yeah, it's Yaesu System Fusion, DMR to Yaesu System Fusion, and DMR to NXDN are the only two cross modes that are available right now on the Pi-Star software. Maybe in the future we'll see a DMR to P25. That would be awesome. But as of right now, we don't have that. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Wish we had that feature, but that is a limitation of the software and uh, the technology right now. So there is that. Let's see. Michael says, "Do you already have a do you already have a video on manually connecting to a talk group using the radio only, holding down the 0 button? If not, that would be great. I find that to be a great way to operate." Michael, you are actually right. I actually have the CodePlug software pulled up in the background. So let me show you guys a setting that you want to take and make sure is set correctly. So that feature actually works. So bear with me just a moment here. Let's see. Whoops. Let's try that again. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this for the most part here. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to come over to optional settings and let's hold that thought for a second. I got to tell it to share the screen itself. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the software. All right, so we'll come to optional settings. That'll pop up this lovely window. And under digital function, you'll see where it says group call hold time, private call hold time, manual dial group talk group hold time, manual dial private talk group hold time. You'll want to set these to 30 minutes. If you don't, you'll have to, every time you key up, you're going to have to press that 0 and then put in the talk group and then key up. So you'll have to do that every time if you don't change these features or these functions right here to the correct time. So I recommend 30 minutes, and that's what I currently have mine set to. Group call hold time, I should probably change that. But yeah, you'll want to make sure that that is set correctly. That actually leads me to the other question that I had that came in via the support ticket, or the page rather, which is, let me find it here. Can I have more than one DMR ID in my radio? Yes, you can. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to come over here to digital, click the plus, and you'll see all this stuff populate. What you're going to click on is radio ID list. And you'll see that I have 2 DMR IDs. I was fortunate enough to be able to get 2 DMR IDs back when they were allowing that. So why you would use this? Let's say that you like talking on Brandmeister and your spouse likes talking on TGIF. And you want to set it up where they use their own ID on TGIF and you use yours on Brandmeister. You would go into your channel settings after putting in both IDs here, and all you've got to do is double click a blank space, put in the radio ID right here, and then the radio ID name. So it'd be your call sign and your name, and then click OK, and it'll populate in this list. Then you'll come back to channel, and just for an example, I'm going to scroll all the way down to TGIF here because my code plug is already set up for TGIF. And this is your radio ID right here. So let's say that I want to take and use my other DMR ID, then I would click the second one in the list for talking on that setup. So I'd click that, click OK, and then when I key up, it'll be that DMR ID that goes through the network. So that's how you do that. So let's see here. Let's see, Shannon's question. Thoughts of using Brandmeister Manager on the hotspot instead of loading up the code plug? Well, here's the thing. When you use Brandmeister's Manager, what you're doing is you're basically taking the interface off of Brandmeister's website and putting it into your hotspot. In this case, it'd be a SkyBridge if you've got one of our SkyBridges. And what that allows you to do is either drop a QSO, drop a dynamic, which dynamics are the push-to-talk activated channels. So when you key up, that's push-to-talk activated. Then you have these static ones. Those are the ones that are active all the time on your hotspot. So you could set, let's say, 3100 to static. And as long as you have it in a receive group list for the channel you're currently on, then whenever there's traffic that comes through, it'll automatically play that audio for that talk group. And then you can disconnect that static talk group and you'll be done with it. So that's what the Brandmeister Manager is typically used for on your hotspot, is for dropping dynamic talk groups, dropping QSOs, or turning on or off a static talk group on your hotspot. I think you can have 10 static talk groups. It may be a little less, but I think the maximum is 10. I don't recommend doing more than 4 because it gets a little crowded on the time slot if you do that. Yeah, that's typically what I use the Brandmeister Manager for. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Shannon. Here's Bob's question. Is it possible to scan DMR channels? If you have them set up as static with the Brandmeister Manager, yes. However, whenever a talk group comes across that has got traffic on it, it's going to override that scan. So you'll only pick up the one that is currently active. It's not like you can switch between them. So yeah, you can set it up, but it doesn't work the way that a normal analog channel scan works. So hopefully that answers that question, Bob. Let's see. I think I had some other questions that people had asked. And again, a lot of the stuff that we're going over is covered in Bridgecom University and BC Plus. So if you haven't joined already, we do an exclusive show on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And that is the Bridgecom University Plus show, or Bridgecom University Live show, which is called BCU Live. And that's more of an intimate setting with everybody in a Zoom where they can learn about that subject that night. And sometimes we'll have a special guest on there, and they'll answer questions as well as go over a particular subject. You get access to all of the courses that we offer and access to any of the new courses that we offer. Workshops are different. They are their own product. But something that BCU Live or BC Plus members get is they actually get discounts to those workshops. So, and we're always looking at improving the program. So if you're already a BC Plus member, please feel free to submit a support ticket to let us know what changes you would like to see, or watch the BCU Live episode tonight, and we'll be able to take and get you a link that you can fill out, letting us know what you like, what you would love to see on the show, what you think of the courses, because we're always looking for feedback on how to improve the program for you guys. Because we want you to be successful with radio. We want you to be successful in your ham radio adventures and successful with the products that you get from Bridgecom Systems. So make sure that, you're a member. If not, click the link that's scrolling, or put in the link that is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and you'll be able to take and sign up. We do have a monthly membership, an annual membership, and a lifetime membership. So if you want to try it out, I suggest doing the monthly membership. If you want to give it a year to see what changes we're going to make, do the annual. And if you want to go, whole hog, get the full experience, get everything we have to offer for it, for several years, do the lifetime. And there are going to be special perks for lifetime members as well as annual members that aren't eligible for the monthly members. But don't worry, we didn't forget about the monthly members. We're going to work on stuff for you guys too. So make sure that you get a chance to experience Bridgecom University and Bridgecom Plus. And thank you for being part of the Bridgecom family. With that, back to the questions. So, let's see here. Okay, Enrique says, hello, I cannot transmit in my FT3D, a pure error. The FT3D is a Yaesu product, and unfortunately, we don't have support for Yaesu products as we don't sell those. So that is something that you would need to look for a support forum on, or contact Yaesu directly. They would be able to offer you more support than I can on that. That being said, I have one of those. I'm trying to learn it, but finding the time to memorize the manual has been a little difficult right now. But yeah, it's a Yaesu product. We're not affiliated with Yaesu, so I can't really offer you any support on that. I'm sorry, Enrique. Shannon, there is nothing to be sorry about. Questions are questions, and you don't learn if you don't ask them. So never feel ashamed for asking a question or embarrassed. You don't learn if you don't ask. That goes for all of you guys. Feel free to ask, no matter how silly you think the question is about the radio or the Sky Bridge. We will get you an answer. That's what we're here for, is to educate you guys, help you learn, and help you on your ham radio journey. All right. I believe I had some more comments that, or questions that came in. Let's see. Here's one that came in via the support or the question form. If I need support, is it faster to call or to submit a ticket? I prefer talking to a live person, but which is actually faster? Well, in all honesty, it's going to be the support ticket, because if I spend all the time on the phone, I'll never get the support tickets done. And if I go in order with the support tickets, then I can interject phone calls in between the support tickets and get people calls back. So the support tickets are the faster way to get a response to your question. Again, please allow 24 to 48 hours to get a response. Typically, they are answered the same day. And if it's something I can't get you an answer for that day, I will have you an answer the next day. So just be aware of that. But support ticket is the fastest way to get your questions answered. Let's see. How can I add a talk group to my radio? Well, that is something we're actually going to be going over in Bridgecom Plus or Bridgecom University Live next week. BCU Live. We're going to be going over how to add talk groups to your radio for TGIF, but the simple explanation is when you're in the CodePlug software. Bear with me 1 second here. You're actually going to come over to Contact and Talk Groups under Digital right here. So click Contacts and Talk Groups. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, which if you have the Super or Ultra Code plug, it's going to have all 1,613 Brandmeister talk groups already in it, or 615, excuse me. And all you'll do to add a talk group is you'll actually double click in a blank space. You'll click where it says contact, type in the contact name for the talk group. Is it a private call or is it a group call? And then you're going to put the talk group number or DMR ID in, depending on if you're doing a group call or a private call, and then click OK. Then you've got to go back to your channels, create a new channel, and go to your list, and then assign that talk group is the contact for that list. And then fill out the rest of the information, your receive frequency, transmit frequency. Correct frequency, leave that alone. That only applies if your radio is off frequency and you know it's off frequency. Then digital channel type, if you're using a hotspot, you set the transmit power to low. And then the DMR mode will depend on if you're using a repeater or if you're using a dual receive hotspot. So the slot will always be number 2 on a hotspot unless you have one of the hotspots that has dual antennas like this one does. And your color code will be whatever you set up in your Pi-Star software. So hopefully that answers that question for you guys. Oops. And get back to the main screen here. All right. All right, let's see here. Had an issue with the 878 Plus after loading EMS dispatch channel to my code plug. The radio started a series of beeping followed by alarm coming on. Bob, that is something that we would need to look at the code plug on for that one. That could also be something that's transmitted by the dispatch system that could be either a 2-tone or a 5-tone setting. So that could be that too. Let's see here. Okay, took the channel out, deleted, and the problem went away after the alarm was silenced. The radio reinitialized and lost the whole code plug back to battery settings. Why? That's a really good question. It should not reinitialize unless you do the code plug or the MCU reset on the radio. That may have been a firmware glitch. Check and make sure which firmware version you are using. If it's 1.22, that is a rescinded firmware, and you're going to want to take that firmware and update it to 3.02. When you're on the support website, you're going to want to make sure that your support.bridgecomsystems.com is where you're at. And under products, you're actually going to go to the 878 V1, Victor 1. That is for the 878 UV radios. And the 878 UV2 radios is version Victor 2. So make sure that you're aware of which one you have. You can always check the label on the back of the radio in the battery compartment to help you specify which one you're on. So that'll help you there. Um, let's see. Um, okay, Dennis says my RJ12 mic on my 578 is bad, will not stay plugged in, is the only option to replace it. If the microphone jack itself is good, but the plug on the end of the cable is bad, then the only option is to replace the microphone. And we do sell those. So you can go on the website, type in 578 microphone, and you should be able to find it on there. I think it's $40. I'd have to look that up to be sure, but we do sell those on the website. All right. Bob, if you're already on version 3.02, I would say reflash it before you load the code plug back on. And always, always, always back up your code plug. Things happen. Radios are not perfect. They sometimes mess up. I've had my ICOM do it, my G90 do it, my Anytone do it. So they're not immune to having a momentary flip out, so to put it, where you've got to go in and reprogram everything. So always back up your code plugs. With the G90, storing stuff in memory is a little harder, but always make sure you've got backups, and you'll be able to restore everything in the event you have to reflash your firmware and do an MCU reset. Now, when you do flash firmware, you always do an MCU reset after you flash the firmware. It's part of the steps for reinitializing the firmware. So make sure that you follow the steps. They are listed in the A README folder inside the download of the firmware and the CPS software. So these are some really good questions today, guys. So thank you very much. Let me see if we have any other questions in here. For those of you who have your radios already set up and your SkyBridges set up with TGIF already, if you're wondering where you can find us, you can actually find us either on, well, find me on talk group 2266 on TGIF. If you've got your padding right and you're running Brandmeister and TGIF, it'll either be 400-2266 or 500-2266, depending on how you set your padding up. If you're just running straight TGIF on your SkyBridge, then it's going to be 2266. So there's that. And that is the Bridgecom Systems talk group. And then the other talk group that you can usually find me on TGIF is going to be 31111. That is my own talk group that I created. And again, if you've got questions that you're wanting to get answered, make sure that you submit your ticket or submit a ticket, or go to the link below, the submit your AMA question link. It's on your screen now scrolling, and we'll be able to get those questions done and put in for the next show. Again, we are doing Ask Me Anything for bi-weekly now, so it'll be every other week. And then BCU Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. So again, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific for BCU Live tonight and every Thursday night. And again, thank you guys so much for all the questions today. Okay. Stephen, that is a special order item, and we can get those. So give me a little bit. I will get you a quote on that to see how much it is. So we can see what we need to do to get you one of those. Ken's got a question. When I switch my SkyBridge from Wi-Fi to Ethernet, I have to unplug and replug the cable to start the Ethernet connection. Is that normal? Actually, yes. There is another thing that you can do. You can actually take and set up your radio with the Pi-Star remote, which we do have a video on YouTube on how to set up Pi-Star remote with your radio. And I plan on doing that for BC Plus as well for BCU Live, showing those steps again. But what you'll do with the Pi-Star remote is you'll actually turn that on the SkyBridge, and then on your radio, you'll have a zone that you label Pi-Star remote, and you'll have 2 channels in there. One of them will be talk group 9999997, and the other will be 9999996. And the one that ends in 6 is the remote shutdown command. And the one that ends in 7 will be the reboot command. And what you can do is you can use the reboot command to restart your SkyBridge, so it'll start looking at that Ethernet connection without unplugging anything. So just a thought on that. And as Eric says, we do have a lot of helpful videos on our YouTube page. So you can actually go through, ask a lot of questions on there, and, or excuse me, type in the subject that you're looking for by clicking the little magnifying glass icon where it says search. And you'll be able to go through and usually find your answer there. And if you can't, always feel free to go to support.bridgecomsystems.com, click Contact Tech Support up in the top right corner, and fill out a ticket, and we will try and get you some help. All right. So Christian says, hello, really nice video you put on YouTube. I have a question regarding my Anytone 878 UV2. It occasionally forgets my contact list. I have no idea why. That would be something with the code plug. It shouldn't be forgetting the contact list. Make sure of what version firmware you're on, and also make sure that anything that you're editing with the code plug is properly synced together, so all the different parts of the file work together. That can cause a problem too. If you're editing only certain parts outside of the software in Excel, like you did a tool export, and you're editing the contact list or the zone or the channel outside in Excel, and then re-importing it, if you don't do the steps correctly, then everything gets jumbled and it can wipe out your contact list and have it where it only has one talk group for all the contacts for all your channels. So with that being said, I do want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you so much for all the great questions. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ask Me Anything. And again, follow the link at the bottom, submit your questions there, and we'll have those ready for the next show. So my name is Jeremiah, W9JAM, and thank you for being part of our show today, and 73s.